each year, and a group of first-time global finalists looking to tackle and tame two all-time greats. This race has everything and everyone. Hayward Field is about to witness history. Whoever wins the Women's World Championship final over 200 metres. Rarely has there been such a sense of expectation and anticipation ahead of a 200-metre final. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce has got out well. Jackson now coming through. Thompson, Hera and Dina Asher-Smith have got a lot to do. Asher-Smith is coming into the mix. Now Shericka Jackson coming up onto the shoulder of Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. At last, it's Jackson's turn to be the queen of sprinting. 21.46. She becomes the fastest living woman on earth. And at last, after so many bronze and silver medals, it is a glittering gold for Shericka Jackson. And how they will celebrate that back in Jamaica. We already know Thompson Hera is one of the greats. We already know Fraser-Pryce is one of the greats. But tonight, it was the turn of Shericka Jackson, and she delivered just when she needed it the most. Fraser-Pryce takes the silver, not quite to be the gold that it was in Moscow 9 years ago, and the crowd have just applauded Dina Asher-Smith because the defending champion is on the podium once more. She came through past Thompson Hera, who was run out of it in the end in around about 6th or 7th place. But that was a brilliant run. I thought Jackson would win it, and guess what? She came ever so close to breaking the world record. It's on the cards, not tonight. She might do it this season, but how sweet is this for Shericka Jackson? She withstood the pressure of the Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce rocket speed start, and Jackson came through for the title. It's a standing ovation here in Eugene, and I bet in the bars all across Jamaica, in Falmouth, in Kingston, in the nightclubs, in the homes, they will be celebrating a night on which Jamaican women have once again come out on top of the world. But it's silver this time for Fraser-Pryce, and the gold for Jackson. Boom!
That was a great race. You talked about Shelly-Ann getting out. She got out the blocks. Shericka did not lose her composure. She knows she has that closing speed. We talked about it earlier in the week from the 400 and the 200 and the 100. And she came home strong, lifting and dominating that race. 21:45.
I think the world record is within this woman's grasp. She has just become the fastest living woman on earth. Second on the all-time list. Dan O'Brien, how well did Jackson execute the race of her life against Fraser-Pryce?
Well, guys, I'm trying to think over these blowhorns. The Jamaican blowhorns have been going for 5 minutes straight here, but it was absolutely masterful. That last 100 meters, you knew Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce was going to get out to a big start, and a lot of times the athletes who get out to those big starts, they make the race possible for everybody else. So I really think the fact that Shericka Jackson winning in that time had a lot to do with Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. But the last 100 meters and the 200, it's all about guts, and sometimes your heart has got to be bigger than your legs and your lungs. And I think Shericka Jackson's heart was the biggest part of her body tonight.
Brilliant run from Asher-Smith, 22.02. Saney wasn't too far away from the podium. Asher-Smith ran a brilliant bend, and Thompson Hera was out of it. At one stage, I thought perhaps Asher-Smith might put Jackson under a little bit of pressure just in the lane outside her. But how well did she accelerate and pull away in that last 40 metres? It was a truly majestic run, which lived up to the hype and expectation.
It did. Dina Asher-Smith got out also very well, and she showed what the defending champion can do. She knows how to get on that podium. She knows how to win. I've been watching her through in the 200, putting together and having the belief and faith that she can get it done, and she did tonight.
I really hope you enjoyed watching that wherever you are in the world. This is our sport's turn to be front and centre. Shericka Jackson has just done an interview on the PA system, and the crowd have roared. They're sitting down again now, but it was a standing ovation here. All the Americans politely applauding the Jamaican 1-2 and the British bronze. Steiner, by the way, was 5th in 22-26. Clark in 22-32 was 6th. They are two fine athletes, the two Americans, and their time will come. But this was such a difficult stage on which to contest your first global final. Taking on, in Thompson-Herah and Fraser-Pryce, two of the all-time greats, and in Jackson, the fastest woman in the world this year. It was just a little bit too much for the two Americans to live with.
They were in a race that was of extraordinary caliber of talent, and they can go back with the experience of saying that they were in a race that was very close to the world record, so they know what it takes to come back again, and they'll learn from that experience. But on this day, the Jamaicans have solidified themselves, regardless of it being a sweep or not, of being the dominant in the sprints, 100 and 200 meters.
Right, look again. Fraser-Pryce, third from the left-hand side, gets the great start. Asher Smith is running really well, up with Jackson at the moment. Thompson-Herah's getting tight, and she's run out of it at this stage. Asher Smith then begins to go backwards, but she's cementing her place in third, and Jackson floats away from the defending champion Asher Smith on her left, and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, the all-time great 100-meter runner, on her right-hand side. They're on her left. This is just brilliant.
I mean, you look at her arms, and she is just composed. She's big arms. You tell kids when they're coming home, big arms, big arms, big arms. And she's big arms, front side mechanics, and going through the finish line. Not to the finish line, as I heard Dan say yesterday. You've got to run through the finish line.
No living woman has run faster than Shericka Jackson just did in that final. Second on the all-time list, pushing Elaine Thompson-Herah down to third. And her wait for a global gold in the World Championship goes on. 4 individual Olympic titles, of course. But you knew, I think this is her best distance.
Yes. You talked about that. I mean, we were talking about that the other day, and she proved that. I mean, it was so great to see her. Like she said, she doesn't like the 100 meters, although she runs very well. The 200 is her better event on this day, and that was remarkable to watch.
One of the greatest pieces of sprinting we've ever seen over 200 meters. Jackson goes second on the all-time list with a massive championship record. Silver for the 100-meter champion Fraser-Pryce, and the defending champion from Great Britain, Asher Smith, takes the bronze.